You need an Alfred sometimes in situations. You need somebody to save you from harm sometimes. Batman, he'll get his ass whooped occasionally. But guess what? Who comes to the rescue sometimes? It's not always Robin. It's not always Nightwing. It's not always the Bat family. It's Alfred. And Caleb Martin came through with the Batmobile and everything and said, come on here. Come on in, Bam. Come on in, Jimmy Butler. I got you. I'm going to save you.
Play the song with your heart. Play the song with your heart.
And one time.
What is good, YouTube? This is your boy, Aaron. And this is the Courtside View Podcast. And we are back today celebrating the downfall of a certain franchise. The downfall of just a disgusting mess of an organization. I'm talking about the Boston Celtics. You guys thought you were going to all of a sudden come back 3-0 and win. You almost did it. But guess what? You're not built for making history like that. Congratulations to Miami Heat, by the way. They came back from the depths of hell and was able to rise for the occasion. Everybody doubted them. People like Richard Jefferson saying the Celtics are coming back down 3-0 was pretty much already saying that, oh, this series is over. The Celtics stole their heart. The Celtics are about to go back to the finals. They were already stamping it before Game 7. And the Miami Heat said, watch this. We got you. And went to Boston, that racist city, and said, you guys can say whatever you want. But on this basketball court, this is our safe haven. This is where we do our business. I told you Miami's going to win 3 games on the road. You didn't believe it. I
said 3 games in a row on the road.
Oh, 3 games in a row on the road. Well, anywho, they won 3 games in Boston. How about that? There's a brother. Light-skinned brother. I don't know where he's from. Came from Nevada University. I never thought that he would be the guy that would save the Miami Heat's season. I'm talking about Caleb Martin. The brother that J. Cole co-signed to get on the Miami Heat roster. Shout out to J. Cole. Caleb Martin, he deserved that MVP, that Eastern Conference MVP, because he was sensational. Game 7. Jimmy Butler, he pitched in, but it was Caleb Martin who saved the day. You need an Alfred sometimes in situations. You need somebody to save you from harm sometimes. Batman, he'll get his ass whooped occasionally. But guess what? Who comes to the rescue sometimes? It's not always Robin. It's not always Nightwing. It's not always the Bat family. It's Alfred. And Caleb Martin came through with the Batmobile and everything and said, come on here. Come on in, Bam. Come on in, Jimmy Butler. I got you. I'm going to save you. Don't worry about it. And he pitched in looking like Klay Thompson, looking like Reggie Miller out there, hitting every shot imaginable, mid-range, 3-point. It did not matter. Unbelievable. And the Boston Celtics couldn't do anything about it. Just a beautiful day. I'm going to pass it on to you. Your reaction to just Number one, the Miami Heat winning the series. And number two, Boston almost coming back 3-0, but laying an egg at home in Game 7.
It's a travesty for Celtics fans. It's a fantastic thing for us haters, but this low key is better than them just getting swept because they had hope this time. All the Celtics fans was ready to throw parades. They saw Scott Foster, Tony Brothers reffing again. They was like, "Woo, we going to no, not this time, not this time."
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the Miami Heat, man. Shout out to the Eric Spoelstra, Jimmy Butler, Caleb Martin, and all them dudes, man. They 8 seed to make the finals. When was the last time that happened? Has it ever happened?
8 seed making the finals, it has happened, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time. First playing team to make the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I just can't say enough about this team. They took a bunch of dudes that were struggling to get like solidified roles on their respective teams, and then they coached them up, took them to the finals. Jimmy Butler leading the charge. He's averaging about, I think, 26 or something. Maybe 28, I can't remember. But, yeah, man, and the Celtics should be ashamed of themselves. They should be ashamed. Especially you, Jaylen Brown. He wants a max contract.
300 M's. For who?
And for 8 turnovers in a Game 7. Can't go left. And it's year 7. Jason Tatum, you hurt your ankle, so I ain't gonna get too much on you.
No, F that. You were a no-show. If this was LeBron, if this was Luka, if this was Jokic, if this was other star players, they wouldn't have gotten any excuse. They would have gotten killed.
You sure year 20 ain't getting no excuse?
Listen, ankle. What? Did anybody say, "Oh, ankle"?
Yeah, a lot of people did.
No, but did they still give the Nuggets credit? Mm-hmm. Okay, then. They didn't say, "Oh, it's because of the ankle." No, they gave the Nuggets credit. So you can't just give Jason Tatum an excuse when we all know Embiid went down with an injury, came back probably too soon, but he still played and they still blamed him. Don't give me that crap. Don't give me that crap, but continue.
Jason Tatum was hurt. I ain't giving him a pass. Still had 11 rebounds, so he was still able to do something out there. So he should have showed up more. But Joe Mazzulla, how do you come out in a Game 7 when you have all the momentum in the world and just stink it up from tip off to the freaking last possession of the game? It doesn't make sense to me. What was was there no, like, I don't understand. I just don't. That team needs help. You know what the Celtics remind me of?
What?
The 49ers.
Okay.
They got all this talent. They all these dudes. Oh, Debo, they gonna carry you. We gonna go and they get to the conference game, and then they fold.
They don't have no.
And when they do make the Super Bowl or the finals, they stink it up there too.
That's a good analogy because number one, you look at quarterback, you look at point guard. You can say it's like very similar in the way that the thought process is. And yeah, the 49ers don't have no QB. Celtics don't have no legitimate point guard. So yeah, that's a good analogy.
It's just sad.
Is it? Is it sad?
Not for us. I'm talking about, in terms of people who actually like the Celtics for whatever reason. It's sad. Because y'all supposed to be, like your top op got eliminated from the playoffs. You were supposed to be like, yes, you supposed to be pounding your chest. We only got to go through Embiid and the Heat. Let's go. Nope. Ain't got no dog in him. Sometimes I do think Jason Tatum is that dude that be on TikTok dancing.
Yeah.
It's just a shame. Well, the Heat outplayed them. The better team won. So, salute to them. Salute. Finally getting some new blood a new blood winner in the finals. And that is fantastic.
Got a good point. I mean, here's the thing, because if you look at the Nuggets and you look at the Heat, these two teams, they thrive off of not just their star players, but the role players are making plays. They're not beholden on what the stars are doing. Like guys like was it Bruce Brown, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, KCP. Then you go Miami, go Caleb Martin, Max Strus, Duncan Robinson, Kevin Love, Kyle Lowry. These guys. Gabe Vincent, yeah. So they obviously the coaches have to put them in a position to succeed, but they also are out there and they're making plays for themselves as well. They're not too reliant on the star player to give them the ball. And with the Celtics, it just feels like number one. And on First Take, I think it was J.J. Redick and Tim Legler. They sort of said it best in that Brown and Tatum, just when it comes to playing with each other, you can't do a two-man action with them. And so it's going to be very hard for them to sort of score at an efficient rate when your two star players can't run plays together. It's too much. Here you go. Go make a play. It's too much of that. It's too much ISO. It's too much of that going on. And then also they're not playmakers when it comes to passing the basketball, setting up people. They're not good at that. So what happens? You lose. The offense is very stagnant. The offense is just, it can't get to action really at all. And you don't have a point guard. So when you don't have a point guard, when your two best players are not good at setting up other people, and your two best players, you can't run no two-man action with them like Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray or LeBron and AD, the offense is going to look very bad like it did last night. 84 points. Egregious in a Game 7. I know those Boston fans, especially the fans that paid $35K for them courtside seats, I know they were disappointed. It was a tragedy displayed last night for the Boston Celtics because I thought that Miami would have to score at least 110 if they want to beat Boston. They only scored like 104. It was that bad. That was an egregious display of basketball from a franchise that has been known for winning. A franchise that has 17 championships. And you display that crap last night, Game 7, to get to the NBA Finals? You can't do it. Spoelstra was running circles around Joe Mazzulla. The fact that, I think it was Tim Legler that said this, he said there wasn't a lot because they play zone. So in order to attack a zone, number one, you're going to need somebody at the free throw line in the middle. There wasn't much of that. He also said something about the baseline as well. They weren't doing a whole lot of that. It felt like what they've been doing, why they've been down 3-0, falling in love with contested shots, falling in love with the three-point shot, not trying to get efficient, not trying to break down the defense. The same old habits. Yet again. And they lost. Jason Tatum, yes. I was in my car for like the first 2-3 minutes of the game. And I remember when I heard Jason Tatum, he's down. I was like, ooh, that changes a lot of things. And whatever the injury was, he just wasn't the same. But I'm still, at the end of the day, I've seen players dealing with injuries as well. Probably all the players on the court is dealing with some type of injury, but they're playing through it, and you have to figure out a way. And he wasn't good at the end of the day. And Jaylen Brown, 300 M's. I don't know if there's any team that would give him 300 M's. That you would have to be on drugs to give Jaylen Brown 300 M's. He's not worth no 300 M's, especially after what he displayed Game 7 when he is looked upon now as the number one guy because of Jason Tatum's ankle injury, and you weren't able to get the job done, and you want all that money? No. You must be out of your damn mind if anybody's going to give you 300 M's. And if they do, they're smoking crack. And so, overall, the Celtics, they need to figure out a way to get Tatum and Brown to sort of function with one another offensively. And then I keep saying I don't know if they necessarily need a legitimate point guard, but Tatum and Brown need to figure out a damn way to, like, I don't know, set up guys. That's the next step offensively for them. Being able to break down a defense and setting up other role players to get easy baskets. That's going to be the next step of their game if they want to win a championship, because it's going to be very hard for them to get a good point guard that can do those things, because you're going to have to re-sign Jaylen Brown. He's going to want over 200 M's. Good luck with that, especially since he made All-NBA this year. So the Celtics have a problem. I don't know what you do, but I think they have all their picks, but they have a major problem. Are you going to would you re-sign Jaylen Brown?
Not for no 300 mil, no.
Then they have a problem.
They said they're gonna. Who said that? Was that Windhorse who said he's certain that they're going to get a deal done? So
whatever the price tag is going to be, is going to be astronomical.
Yeah.
If he gets that Bradley Beal contract, whoo, good luck. Because it's going to be very hard. I'm not saying, listen, Jaylen Brown is talented. He made All-NBA. But if he's going to turn the ball over like that, if he's going to settle for bad shots, how are you going to win a championship like that? I
think his turnover to assist ratio, I think the playoffs, he had 58 turnovers and I think 63 assists.
Yeah, I saw that.
That is horrible.
That is bad.
Almost a 1-to-1 turnover ratio is no. That's just not no. Especially from a guard.
Yeah, it just doesn't. It doesn't equate to winning a championship. Okay, listen. At the end of the day, I do think that they shouldn't break them up. I'm not like Kendrick Perkins and say, "Oh, we're not going to see these guys again." I think Boston, they should keep these guys together because they're both still relatively young, and they're still in their like mid-20s. So I would keep them together. It's just about figuring out a way for them to sort of complement one another, because they play a lot of the same style. And when you play a lot of the same style, it's going to, at the end of the day, like with Russ and LeBron, like a lot of the same things that they want to do, well, how are you going to, like, what about the other stuff that you need in order to win? And so with Brown and Tatum, they need to figure out a way where they can sort of play well with one another and actually run plays with one another, because if not, they're going to be stuck in the same sort of predicament every single year. You know, always never getting over the hump, never getting that championship. And I don't know how they'll do it. Shoot, Mike Conley, like, he was the surprise of the trade deadline, because people thought Mike Conley was done. But lo and behold, he got out of Utah, went to Minnesota, and he sort of resurrected his career. I don't know if Mike Conley will be available, but I feel like he's probably the best bet you can make when it comes to a point guard that can set up an offense per se. But I don't know if they'll have the cap space. And you're going to probably have to trade maybe Marcus Smart. You're going to probably have to trade some guys that were on your bench that you really like. And so Boston has a lot of questions, but they do have draft picks. They do have that in their favor. But we'll have to see.
Al Horford probably retires.
I don't know. They're like knocking on the door. I don't know if he wants to leave that. And he still has a lot left in the tank.
You was just talking about how he's slow and he can't do this and that last week.
Well, yes. I did say he was slow, yes. But he still can do some things that result in wins. He can shoot the three. He's a good low-post defender. As long as he doesn't guard a big that's sort of facing up with Bam Adebayo or Joel Embiid, if they were actually smart and just didn't post up and just faced up, as long as he doesn't face. And besides, like, if you look at the center position, there's really like one guy where it doesn't matter what Al Horford does, he's gonna get cooked, and that's Nikola Jokic. Everybody else, they're talented, but I think the way that he defends, I think he'll bother them. He can still bother them in a way. So yeah, he still has like maybe 2-3 years left in the tank, in my opinion. Yeah, and yeah, Boston, they just there's a lot of things that they have to work on. On the Miami Heat side of things, wow, what a journey. The fact that they were able to overcome all these odds. They lost to the Hawks in the play-in, and then they became the 8th seed. They were down against Chicago in the fourth quarter. They were able to come back and win that game. And then just the run itself, beating Milwaukee in 5, beating New York in 6, and then now beating Boston in 7. You know, they were able to go on the road and win Game 7. Let me ask you this question: between the Nuggets and the Heat, who had the better playoff run to the finals?
The Heat.
The Heat.
Yeah.
Okay, why you feel that?
Because they were the underdog in every series. They had to go through the play-in. Yes, I think the Nuggets had the more
Dominant
run, but the Heat had the more impressive run thus far.
That's fair. I wanted you to say Nuggets because I agree with you. They've been more impressive because just the talent level. I think the talent disparity between the Nuggets and the Heat is a lot different. I think the Nuggets are much more talented. The Heat, they're just a very well coached team, and they have that sort of mentality, that toughness, right? That Heat culture we always mention that just prevails over any other team, and they've been able to just get away with not having a whole lot of talent, having a lot of undrafted free agents and stuff like that, having guys that have sort of been afterthoughts on other teams, you know. And so you have to salute Miami Heat and what they've been able to do. Jimmy Butler just elevating his game the first 2 rounds. Obviously, you know, conference finals, he's been sort of up and down. But in that fourth quarter, game 6, he showed up. They should have won that game if they were able to get the rebound, but unfortunately, that lucky bounce, sometimes it's luck. Luck is the art of design. Sometimes, you know, you just get unlucky, and Derek White was able to get the offensive rebound and get the tip in, and they win the game. But overall, I just think that, yeah, Miami Heat's run has been just incredible. Like, I never would think in a million years they would pull this off. Like, I can understand the Nuggets. Like, they were number 1 seed. They have Jokic. Murray's healthy. And I said this, I think I may have said this before the playoffs, where it's like, if Murray turns back to Bubble Murray, it's going to be very difficult. And he did. And they were able to prevail over the 3 teams. And I also think that with Miami, they face really good competition. Like Boston, they were title favorites. Milwaukee, they were title favorites. So yeah, like that's another thing. Not to discredit Minnesota, not to discredit the Suns or the Lakers, but just looking at Milwaukee and Boston, they were like probably the 1 and 2 best odds to win the championship, and Miami beat both of them. Yeah. Miami beat Milwaukee in 5. Miami went to Boston after losing 3 straight games and beat them in their home court with that crowd. You can't say that enough. One of the best playoff runs to the finals I've ever seen. It was that impressive because they overcame so many odds. They were underdogs in, frankly, almost every series, probably except the Knicks. But the first series and the third series, they were underdogs. I didn't believe they could do it. You didn't think they could do it. I had Celtics in 6. They beat them in 7. I had Milwaukee maybe in 5. They
something like that.
they beat them in 5. Wow. They beat a 2-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year. They beat Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton. They beat a Boston team that went to the finals last year, that just came off beating a Sixers team that was also top 5 finals favorites. They beat that team. All-NBA first team Jason Tatum. What was it? Second team All-NBA Jaylen Brown, or whatever All-NBA he was. He was in All-NBA. They beat that team. 6th Man of the Year, Malcolm Brogdon. Serviceable, Derek White, who was playing out of his mind Game 7.
Yeah.
Al Horford, who's pretty solid. Marcus Smart, he was Defensive Player of the Year last year. They beat that team with Caleb Martin, Max Strus, Duncan Robinson, an old Kevin Love, an old Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, one of the best players in the NBA. But he's not no LeBron. He's not no Kevin Durant. He's not no Giannis. He's not no Jokic. He's not no Luka. But they still win. Bam Adebayo, who was very inconsistent this series. They beat the Boston Celtics to go to the finals with no Tyler Hero, no Victor Oladipo, 2 rotational pieces. You can't say enough. Can't say enough about them. All right. So let's.
Before
go ahead.
before
What
we
we gonna say?
All right, so I saw a report or something saying that Tyler Hero could possibly be back Game 3.
Mm-hmm.
Do you insert Tyler Hero into this?
Yes, I do.
Who minutes does he take? Duncan's?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely Duncan. Although, yes, Duncan has made some shots, but I think he's been kind of inconsistent. Ever since they went up 3-0, I felt like he's been sort of inconsistent. And I think Tyler Hero, he could sort of take up those Duncan Robinson minutes and play a lot better, especially at the end of Game 6 when he missed those 2 threes. Like, come on, dude. You were open. Like,
Yeah, he was.
that was
wide open.
egregious. Had me on the floor just in disbelief. How do you miss that? How you miss those 2 threes? It's, Jimmy Butler nearly saved him too, but lucky bounce. The lucky bounce.
That was insane.
And then I'm seeing people saying, "Oh, Max Strus should have boxed out." This is how you don't know basketball. Max Strus' assignment was to sort of help out on Jason Tatum. Derek White was at the corner. Max Strus was I think he was at the wing, by where Jason Tatum was at, and I think Jason Tatum was maybe a couple feet behind the 3-point line. So he was too far to really catch up to Derek White, and he almost caught up to him too. So he couldn't box him out. He didn't have time to box him out. And that's how Derek White was able to get the tip in and win the game, is because Max Strus' assignment was to help out on Jason Tatum. And it was the right decision. They got unlucky. That's really what it was. And Eric Spoelstra even said Max Strus did his job. If there's anybody to blame Bam Adebayo. Although, yes, he was boxing out Jaylen Brown. But if you're going to blame anybody, blame him. And I'm not even going to blame him. But blame him because he was the one that was right there. So, yeah, people just don't know ball. They really don't. They just want to blame anybody. How did Derek White get there? Because that was Strus' assignment, to help out on Jason Tatum. What is he supposed to do? He's one man. Come on now. He's not the Flash who could just speed up in 0.00001 second. He can't do that. That's just impossible. And but anywho, yeah, Tyler Hero, I would definitely play him. I don't know how many minutes I would play him, but I would play Caleb Martin as many minutes as he did last series. I'm not gonna just let him sit out. Kyle Lowry, I was still like for the most part same group of guys. Just Duncan Robinson, you're just gonna have to sit, and we'll let Tyler Hero sort of cook. And it's unfortunate it's gonna be Game 3 though.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Miami. Let's get to this Heat and Nuggets finals preview. So this will be very interesting for the simple fact that these two teams, again, they're not beholden on how great Jokic or Murray have to be because the other guys are stepping up. The same with Miami Heat, where Butler, he doesn't have to go for 40. Bam, he could be just plain awful. And if Caleb Martin shows up, if Tyler Hero shows up, if Kyle Lowry shows up, they could still win the game. So just your thought process on this series. How you see it going?
This is where the ultimate better dudes theory is going to come into play here. I'm gonna roll with the Nuggets, and I'm gonna say Nuggets in 6, because frankly, the Heat have been doing something nearly unheard of, but I think it just stops here. I just think it stops because I don't see Murray or Jokic pulling a Tatum or Jaylen Brown. I just can't see it. I think they're going to give you consistent games every single game, and the role players in Denver are going to step up. They're going to continue to hoop. They're going to continue to make shots. Like, how did they can't keep shooting like, yes, they can. They can and will keep shooting like that. So before the Heat culture even tries to utter the foolishness, they will continue to shoot like that. Just letting you know from the jump. The coaching, obviously Spo's a better coach than Mike Malone, but Mike Malone is still a good coach.
Yeah, he's better than probably 99% of the coaches in the league. Probably maybe 2 or 3 that may be better than him.
Exactly. So, yeah, and I just expect Jokic to just dominate. I don't think Bam is going to do next to anything against Jokic. Jokic is going to get his game off regardless. Jamal Murray, I expect Jamal Murray to cook whoever they put on him. At least give us 20-something a night. And the role players going to continue to do their thing. I don't think that he have enough. I know you be like, you're saying, look at what they've done, but like this Nuggets team would wash nearly every team that they played in the playoffs. Maybe they probably wash Milwaukee too, but and plus they're coming off nearly 2 weeks of rest, and the Heat have a lot of miles on them, especially after playing 2 play-in games, a Game 7, and they played more games. They just played more games. The Nuggets are fresher, not dealing with as much injury. I don't know if they're even dealing with any injury. So yeah, I think it's just a destiny type run for the Nuggets.
You make valid points. It'll be interesting to see how Eric Spoelstra sort of the defensive game plan, because I don't see them running that same zone against Denver.
They're going to die.
They're going to kill. They're going to kill that zone instantly because Denver does a really good job, especially Jokic at the free throw line. He's definitely going to be at the free throw line, and they're going to exploit that left and right. So it'll be very interesting how they figure out a way to defend Denver, because Denver is such a really good ball movement team. The guys are able to make their own plays at times, and Jokic and Murray two-way action. It's just deadly. Jokic and Murray in the pick and roll. Murray's mid-range ability, three-point ability, driving to the basket, his handle ability. It's just disgusting. Just his ability to create his own shot, and Jokic, his ability sort of passing and being able to shoot the 3-ball, shoot the mid-range. It's just unbelievable. Like his ability, like I'm just watching. Sometimes I remember AD was guarding him or Roy was guarding him, and he would just be in the mid-range area, standing still and shoot over the top of him, comfortable.
Yep.
His ability to sort of post up, he can do it all, and I don't know how Miami will be able to defend the Nuggets, especially with their lack of size and they don't have a whole lot of really good wing defenders. They're a really good team defense. It reminds me almost like with the Spurs in the past, where they didn't necessarily have all of the great sort of defensive players. They had Duncan, and they had Kawhi, but everybody else, they weren't the greatest defender in the world. But because of just being coached well, that's what this Heat team remind me, because they have Butler, who's a great defender, and you have Bam, who's also a great defender. Similarly with the Spurs with Duncan and Kawhi. How will the guys sort of defend? Because I think that's the number one thing, the number one story when it comes to Miami. How will they defend Denver? Because if they can figure out a way to sort of contain Denver's just great shooting, then they'll be able to win the game. But if they can't do that, you might as well wrap it up. Probably winning 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So I think that Jimmy's going to get his game off. I don't see much of anybody that can really guard him. But who else is going to step up? Can Caleb Martin continue this level of scoring? Can Tyler Hero at Game 3 be the difference? Can Bam Adebayo show up? Like, I told you this after they went up 3-1, right? I told you I need more from Bam. And you were like, he's been playing okay. I'm like, no. Only 5 for 7 is not going to cut it. And you would think, oh, that's sorry. No, he's an all-star. He was an all-star this year, averaged 20. I need that from him. I need 20 points from Bam. And these last 3 games, the reason why Boston was able to go up like they were wasn't just because Miami, they were breaking shots, whatever, and Jimmy Butler, he was having some bad games, but it was because Bam didn't do his job offensively. He cannot be a role player this series. He needs to actually do something. You can't be Clint Capella this series. You can't be who's another center that people be talking about. You can't be DeAndre Ayton this series. You need to be that 20 points per game all-star. We need that from you. You can't be a role player this series. You can't keep getting away with riding the coattails of Jimmy Butler and Caleb Martin and Max Strus all the damn time. We need you to be the Robin of Jimmy Butler this series. No excuse. Are you going to show up or not? I see the talent. I see the quickness. I see the ability to get damn near every shot when a big is guarding you. But you just keep settling for bad shot after bad shot. You keep doing these dumb-ass decisions. What are you going to do? It's the NBA Finals. This is it. This is the chance to win a championship. Are you going to do your job? Or are you going to continue to play like a role player? Continue to only attempt, single-digit shots? Are you going to continue to do that? Are you going to continue to fold under the bright lights? You're not just a defensive player. You can also score. I need the scoring. You're not Dennis Rodman. You can do more than just rebounding and blocking shots. I need that from you. I'm not asking you to be a top 10 player. Just give me 20.
Be Chris Bosh.
Yes, be Chris Bosh. Give me 20 points. That's all I'm asking from you. It's not that hard. Anywho, Bam needs to show up.
He's a stepper. Be a man.
Yeah, be a man. Okay, Bob Myers is stepping down as Warriors GM. Uh-oh. Breaking news.
Oh, that just dropped?
Yes. Uh-oh. The Warriors are in an interesting time. Does that mean that Draymond is out of here? It might be over. The dynasty, it might be over. The days of Steph, Clay, and Dre going to the finals together, It's looking very muddy.
Until they listen. I was gonna say something.
Well,
outrageous.
go ahead. Go ahead.
You was gonna laugh. It wasn't that shit. I
Go
was
ahead.
Gonna say something like until they get Giannis somehow and then ruin the league again.
That's not happening.
Yeah,
We already know that
obviously.
because he's going to the Lakers. But anywho,
Giannis
wow.
is dropping out of my favorite players of all time list if he goes and plays for that sorry franchise.
Sorry, franchise. Unbelievable. You're the one to talk.
Maybe he's the one that won't make me a Lakers hater. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, got nothing to say about that. If Giannis goes to the Lakers,
I'm gonna be a Lakers fan temporarily.
temporarily.
I'm gonna be a fake Lakers fan. I'm gonna be like one of them Bron stands that don't care about the team. They only care about LeBron.
Oh, really? I find that hard to believe. I really do.
Nah, I could never root for this.
This man hates the Lakers more than he hates Boston. You know how crazy that is? What did we ever do to you? We ain't do nothing to you. He's a Wizards/Bucks fan. We done nothing to you. You just mad because AD dunked on Giannis that one game? Is that what it is?
That's not what
Is that what it
you
is?
know what it is. You know what it is. Everybody at home knows what it is. We're just not gonna say it.
Oh, you mad because LeBron he was cooking Giannis?
No. That's
Like what?
It's not because anything they did to the Bucks.
Oh,
No.
okay. Oh, you
Or
mad?
the Wizards and no.
See, you know it.
It's for media purposes.
Oh, media purposes. Okay, well, I don't know what to say about that, but
In other news,
in other news,
the Nick Nurse has been hired by the 76ers.
yes, he has.
Rip Embiid's knees
I'll say this:
in other extremities.
this was a good hire. I'm not gonna go great. This was a good hire. Actually, no, I'll take that back. It is a great hire because finally, the 76ers get a head coach that, one, is respected by the players. Number two, knows X's and O's. That's won a championship recently. That brings a defensive sort of mindset to a team. Listen, he's a magician when it comes to defense. He be the best player on the opposing team. They're going to have a hell of a night when they go against a Nick Nurse coach team. And for him to go to Philly, it's a W for the city of Philadelphia.
Yep.
It's a W for the 76ers organization. It's a W for Joel Embiid in certain aspects. Obviously, the minutes part is a bit concerning.
Yeah.
But let's not worry about that right now.
James Harden already packing his bag because he ain't playing 40-plus minutes a game.
Good. He needs to go. That trash can.
Oh,
That trash can of a
I
series.
think Max is ready to step in that role anyway.
I do. What Philly needs, they need
A point guard.
They need somebody that can
Mike
show up in
Conley.
big moments.
Mike Conley would help the Sixers tremendously.
That is I like Mike. Listen, Mike Conley. Oh my God, I remember Clippers discourse. This guy, like a Clippers fan, he mentioned, I think, Mike Conley, right? This was back when Mike Conley's name was just smeared. Like, people just disrespected Mike Conley. And he mentioned, yo, we should go after Mike Conley. Everybody was laughing at him, saying, yo, no ball. What are you talking about? And this dude was absolutely right, because the Clippers damn sure needed Mike Conley at that moment, not Russell Westbrook. They need, just like with Boston, they need a guard that can, number one, show up in big moments, that can hit a damn shot, and that could also make life easier for Embiid. And Harden's not that guy. I will say Harden did win them 2 games because he scored like 40. But those are 2 games. The rest of the games, I couldn't find him.
Yeah.
So I will let go of Harden. I feel like you said with Maxey, I think Maxey elevating his game without Harden. I believe he's better without Harden than with Harden. Let Maxey finally get more of a better role. I think he's an all-star in the making. Get a guard, get a point guard that is unselfish, like a Mike Conley that can set up Embiid, that can set up Tyrese Maxey. The thing with the Celtics, the thing with the 76ers that has really hurt them these past few years is Tobias Harris in that contract. If they never signed Tobias Harris, they would be in a way better situation because he's just not great. He's just not good for the money that he's getting paid. I say this again, picking Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler was the worst mistake they ever made. Even worse than them drafting Markelle Fultz over Jason Tatum. Because, okay, you draft Markelle Fultz over Jason Tatum, gave him a first-round pick. All right, that's cool, but they're not making a whole lot of money. You can get rid of him. But picking Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler and giving Tobias Harris all that money, you aren't going to be able to trade him. You're stuck with him, and you're going to be limited in the players that you can acquire. And so that was probably the worst mistake they ever made, not re-signing Jimmy Butler. And he's in the finals now.
Yeah. Again.
Yes, again. Think about that. Embiid has never made the conference finals. Jimmy Butler with the Miami Heat has made the conference finals 3 times since he's been in the Miami Heat uniform. Yeah. And Embiid has had 2 head coaches fired. Man. But yeah, Embiid, it also comes down to Embiid, right? And him sort of elevating his game in the brightest moments. I was never a big Embiid over Jokic guy because I've seen the playoffs. I've seen what he done. But people have revisionist history because of what he's doing in the regular season. They forget that he's not good in the playoffs. Because they scapegoated Doc Rivers, scapegoated Ben Simmons in the past, Tobias Harris in the past, that people and media have sort of given Joel Embiid a pass. Now there's no more pass. It's up to him. And with Nick Nurse being hired, he's gonna hold guys accountable. He's gonna put Embiid and Maxey and those guys in the best position to succeed. Now it's about just getting the right guys in. That mentality. With Doc Rivers and Brett Brown, the problem with this team, they weren't mentally tough. They let these teams walk all over them. Miami Heat, they lost in 6. Mentally tough team. You let Boston, not even really a mentally tough team, walk all over you with a first-year head coach who's an assistant coach that, frankly, I don't know if he was their first option, but they decided to go with him anyway.
I think one of the people that would have got promoted,
Damon Stoudemire?
Yeah, I think he went to another team.
So he wasn't the first choice. You lose to that team. Now, bring in a new head coach that's won recently, that understands superstar players. There's no excuse, Embiid. You have to get it done this year, or else your name, people are going to be looking at you. They're going to be treating you like they did with Giannis. They're not going to be respecting you that much. So, get it done, Philly. Oh, yeah, Milwaukee. They hired, Adrian Griffin?
Something like that.
Yeah, Adrian Griffin as the head coach. How do you feel about that hire?
I think it was the Raptors assistant coach or something
Yes.
like that. So, I don't know too much about him. So.
I agree.
Apparently, Giannis liked him. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was a bit shocked at the hiring. I thought they would go a more experienced route with a head coach. At least they didn't hire Scott Brooks. That's a W right there.
Yeah, it could have been worse.
I thought they should have went after Nick Nurse. I thought he would have been he would have been a great addition with Giannis because he understands superstars. But then just hearing the report, Nick Nurse, it was between the Suns and Philly, but he went with Philly. I don't know how that is. Is that a head scratcher when you look at the Phoenix Suns? The fact that Nick Nurse decided to go Philly instead of Phoenix. Maybe he knows something we don't know.
Yeah. What does he know?
And
He
Phoenix.
said, "I ain't trying to deal with Ayton."
And then the whole situation with Kevin Durant, and he's gonna demand a lot. He's got a lot of coaches fired.
Yeah.
So, I think that was probably the best decision he can make. and then also the window that you have with Kevin Durant. He's getting up there in age. I think his contract, he may have like 1 or 2 more years left. So the window is a lot shorter than if you had Embiid. So it makes a lot of sense. Then also the roster construction, you're very limited with the cap space because of the Ayton contract. Then Chris Paul, he's going to come back.
Yep.
So good move, Nick Nurse. I mean, I don't know if Milwaukee, I don't know how this signing is going to I don't know if this is an upgrade than Mike Budenholzer. We have to remain to be seen. He was a part of Nick Nurse's coaching, staff, so that's a plus, I guess you could say. But I don't know. I don't know, Milwaukee. I guess I'll just trust their decision making. But
see, I wish we knew exactly what assistant coaches did. Because, like, when offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators, we know what they will sort of bring to the table. But, like, when these assistant we don't really know too much. Because the media don't really expand on what they do on a game-to-game basis.
Right. The only guys, like, when it comes to, like, the Lakers and hiring Darvin Ham,
we know about Darvin.
There was, like, footage of seeing him sort of getting the locker room sort of together. He's an outspoken person. And, yeah, we kind of knew. But when it comes to, like, certain organizations, you really don't know. Like, when it comes to the Raptors and, maybe even Milwaukee. Like, it's just you don't know. And it's very strange. Like, with the Lakers, like, like, some of these, like, Jason Kidd and Phil Handy. Like, it's certain organizations where you know what they're doing because they're like a big name franchise and stuff, so their names are going to be sort of in the news a lot more. But some other franchises like Toronto or maybe even like the Wizards or a franchise like Minnesota, like, those type of franchises, like, you don't really hear much reporting about it because I guess they're small market teams. And so, yeah, that's a big challenge. But I guess you just have to go off of the pedigree of the head coach and his coaching ability, and you just go off of that, I guess. But sometimes it doesn't work. Like, just look at San Antonio. Like, some of the head coaches, like Mike Budenholzer, he's worked, like, he's won, but he's still question mark. And then some other guys, I think Ime, he was on the coaching staff. He worked, he had that first year and then went to the finals, so yeah, you just don't know. It's a very weird situation. I do wish that it was more reported, just like with the NFL. Like, you knew that Kyle Shanahan was an offensive genius. We knew that. We knew that he had his hands sort of in everything when it came to the offense. Brian Dable. We knew just the way that he was able to sort of help Josh Allen in his ascension. Sean McVay with Washington. We knew that the play calling in Washington, Kurt's ascension as a QB, we knew how valuable he was. I'm trying to think. There's definitely other names that I haven't gotten to, but Mike McDaniel. Like, it's just,
Eric Bieniemy.
Eric Bieniemy. Well,
they say he wasn't calling. He was calling.
Yeah, well, it's hard to say. You're right. So, is there anything else that we need to discuss that we haven't discussed already?
I think we touched on pretty much everything.
Okay. Well, whatever happens, we'll make sure that we get down to it. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell, follow the socials as well because we post a lot on Instagram. And we'll see you guys on the next episode of the Courtside View Podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and peace. Oh, wait a minute. Before we go, I need to give my prediction for the game.
Oh, duh.
So I have Nuggets in 6 as well. And that's my prediction. But I could always be wrong. Yep. Miami might shock the world again. But yeah, we'll see you guys on the next episode of the Courtside View Podcast. Thank you guys for watching. And we're out.
Look, cold world, still a cold world. And a couple y'all is cool, but we a little more thorough. Whole time, a little more girls. You know I spit that sick shit and it's still no cure. Hold up, loud